Adamawa State Police Zone 3 has arrested the proprietor of Aliyu Mustapha College, Mrs. Amada Pam, a teacher identified as Mr. Morgan, over the alleged torture of a student in Upper Luggere, Jimeta, Yola. A security source revealed that the student Jaffa Bashiru was tortured by Mr. Morgan last Wednesday. According to reports, it was learned that the proprietor contacted Kerewa police station to arrest Bashiru's father for allegedly attempting to attack the teacher after school hours. However, officers refused to carry out the arrest after witnessing the student's condition, bleeding and surrounded by distraught family members. Confirming the incident, the public relations officer of Zone 3, SP Yusuf Mohammed, said the police are committed to ensuring justice. The father of the boy has written his statement on the matter, and we will ensure justice is served. The police cannot turn their eyes from criminal brutality, Mohammed said. A senior government official hinted that the school might be shut down due to repeated negative reports. This case is one too many. Drastic action must be taken to deter others, the official said. The proprietor and the teacher are expected to be charged in court on Thursday, while further details of the investigation will be provided by the police. What are your thoughts? Now, I want to gather your thoughts. Let's gather your thoughts on these reports first.
Okay. Seeing the government reaction, rather than being heartwarming, raises more questions than answers. In the sense that the government person that spoke said, oh, we are going to take action because we have had negative reports concerning this school in the past. Excuse me, you have had negative reports in the past. What did you do about that? You only waited to see when it came to public because this has made its way to the public domain. But that's not how it should be. When you notice those infractions, when you had those negative reports concerning the school, as a supervisory or regulatory body, what did you do to nip this in the bud? Perhaps if they have taken action, the matter wouldn't have gotten to this. Right. From the description that, oh, the guy was seen in a pool of his own blood, it raises question about the state of the health of the guy, since nothing further was said on that. So I don't think it's fine for regulatory agencies to wait till a matter gets out of hand before they act. When you heard the first negative report, you said several negative reports, you've heard them. At a point, somebody should have investigated what happened and called them to that. If that was done, probably we may not be here as regards this school.
You know, let's talk about discipline in schools. Many times when we're growing up, different ideas, or when I was growing up, different ideas of discipline. You have the part where you serve some form of punishment. You had the part where you had to cut some grass and all of, those sort of things. We had the parts when you actually, got a few strokes of the cane. Now, for children, for everybody as it were, certain punishments are put in place in systems to at least make people accountable for their actions. Now, but this incident has rather, not been a pleasant one, given that the child was bleeding on both parts. What are your thoughts as regards the policy on punishment for children in schools?
Well, in this case was not even from the report. It wasn't tagged a discipline, so it's called torture. So,
it was called torture.
Yeah. So what we needed to.
But it happened in school premises. Yes. So maybe we
can't assume that every form of physical abuse that happened in school was meant to be a disciplinary.
Why this question for me came more from a discipline angle. A principal of a school is involved, and a teacher of a school is involved, and the child or the person this happened to is also a student of the school, and everything happened within the school coffers. Yeah. Right. So it's better to
simply assume that it was disciplinary.
Yes. Else, if it happened outside the school premises, you would say, okay, that is it happened outside the school block. But if it's happening within the school, and the principal is being arrested and charged to court, and the teacher also, and there are now reports that this has happened several times in the school, makes you wonder how they table punishments for students in the school.
Okay, fine. When you talk of discipline in schools, and indeed in every system, all for discipline. I appreciate discipline. And I strongly believe that if you take away discipline, not just from students, but majorly from students because they are still at their formative age.
Right.
But even in the workplace, if you take away discipline, things are likely to go wrong. However, just like the case we discussed before, discipline should be made as a correctional approach to put things right, not necessarily to break the I don't want to use corporate, I don't want to use victim. Let me use the word juvenile as it were. Now, everybody, like I said, at some point in our life, we needed discipline. Maybe now, in some cases, we still need to be disciplined here and there. Albeit it may not be kneel down, hands up, and close your eyes, but somehow we need to be disciplined by somebody talking to you or something. And for those of us, who are Christians, the Bible talk about God disciplining His children and all that. So discipline is fantastic. As growing kids, we were disciplined, for coming late to school. Different approaches we approach, maybe bend down and you pick around the school compound, watch the school toilet. And funny enough, here at school, there was no much incident of cutting the grass because it was an urban school and we didn't have too much of land areas to cut grasses. But it was when I did this service that I could see people cutting grass. I mean, we did cut grass in school, but it wasn't a large
space.
Yeah. So, but definitely there should be a form of discipline. At times, it could even be give a student a note to write, I will not do it again, I will not do it again 50 times or something like that. Then when it comes to, spanking people as a means of discipline, there has been many debates about it, wanting it to go. But my take is this: if you are throwing away that form of discipline, there should be an alternative to it. Whatever our take is, we shouldn't throw away discipline completely, yes. Also, whatever we are introducing, whether we are leaving the spanking with cane or verbal, it shouldn't be in such a way as to deform the child. Because you could take away cane and use verbal. Some words are hurtful than even the cane. Some words remain with the person, not in a positive sense, but negatively. A long time, even after school. I don't think it's fine to use such words that will make a person begin to doubt himself. Neither would I also support a system where you flog a person in the name of discipline and you get the person deformed or the person suffers body injury. But definitely some form of discipline must be embedded in our system, and the system should also have a way of monitoring the situation to ensure that these approved disciplinary measures are not exceeded.
Right.
When you exceed it, it becomes abuse, and also ensure that they are not wrongly applied. No student should be punished for perceived personal injury. Like what I mean is this: we have had cases where some teachers are noted to extort children, and those that refuse to comply are picked on, are punished. The system should ensure that no child is unjustly disciplined. Because when it's become an unjust discipline, it is no longer discipline, because the word discipline suggests that there has been a moral infraction, as it were. So you're trying to bring back that person in life. But if there is no moral infraction, nothing has been done wrong, it is no longer discipline, it is an abuse. So I think it is that abuse we should even focus on, ensuring that we have a system that our children are not abused. And maybe in a larger society also, people shouldn't be abused, but discipline can be introduced. Again, what kind of discipline? We don't, in the name of discipline, bring things that don't dignify a person. In discipline a person, you don't want that person to lose his personality. For example, you can't, in the name of discipline a child in a school, ask him to go naked or her to go naked, especially at certain age. You're making such a person lose his or her dignity. that then the essence of that discipline may be lost
Completely.
Yeah.
Very well. I want to also know your thoughts as regards the father of the boy, coming out all out to beat up the teacher before the principal did call the police. What are your thoughts in that regard?
Let me try to excuse him by saying maybe it was an act of provocation, excessively provoked, but I don't think it's a very fantastic thing to going to fight your child's teacher. You're laying a bad example for that child.
But he had his son bleeding.
Yes,
because
it
was when the police officers came, they could not arrest the man because when they saw the state of the child.
Absolutely, and I must commend the police there because they were called in by the principal, and when they came, seeing the state of the guy, they were sensible enough to know that, oh, even though you're the one that called us to come and take this guy away, given the state of this guy, I mean, probably they felt that this is enough provocation for the father to want to act. But ideally, it would have been best for the man to approach the police station and report the incident. Because, like I said, if it has gone beyond reasonable discipline, we may have delved into the arena of criminal abuse or, abuse or something. It's no longer just a matter the school can handle. So probably anybody in that situation would have been better off going to the police than taking laws into his hand. Because in the process of going to fight the principal, he may also be injured, or the teacher or whatever. He may himself be injured. Then the family will be left with two bleeding people, which may not be very fantastic.
Now, do you think shutting down the school in the interest of other students would be the best approach to go by the government?
Depends on what the rule says. If, like the government official says that there have been several reports, if in their judgment shutting down that school for a period of time would be the best thing to do, it can be done. However, in doing that, consideration should be made for the students enrolled in that school. So in shutting down the school, what is the alternative for those students there? Because like we always say, you don't throw away the bathwater with the baby. So there should be an arrangement to, relocate those students, as it were, to other schools where they will continue their studies without losing out in the academic session. Also, if this is a private school, like the news said, and some of them have paid some fees, so if they're going to be relocated to another school, I don't think it should be an additional financial burden to their parents. So the system should look at a way of either making the school pay for it or government picking up the bill. But definitely, if shutting down that school for a period of time is in order, then the government should, without hesitation, do that.
Thank you so much for your